So we've all been watching Donald Trump implode, but if you remember, we were all upset as how the mainstream news media propped him up before. We've shown you Les Moonves, the head of CBS, was cheering on Donald Trump, and he was recorded at a meeting, and he was saying, "Yeah, Donald Trump is bad for the country, but he's good for CBS profits," and everyone laughed and applauded. We've watched as MSNBC has run Donald Trump's speeches. They've given him an hour straight of time on their TV stations, unedited, unpaid for, and unfact-checked. I've watched them let his kid talk, too. Unedited, unfact-checked. So you shouldn't do that. And they're doing that because they think it makes money, and they defended it, too. Chris Matthews defended it. I saw him defend them giving Trump free airtime. So that's all you need to know about Chris Matthews. Plus, if you need to know more, I've got videos on this channel. So here's the thing. Now, the media is trying to act like they're upset about Donald Trump. Don't let them do that because they're the ones who propped him up. CNN right now is still paying Trump's campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, to be on their frickin' network show at the same time that the Trump campaign was paying him. You're not supposed to do that. That's called paying someone for propaganda. You're not supposed to do that. That's not a news show. I don't know what that is. It's not news. So Tavis Smiley was on with our good friend Brian Williams. Brian, lying to puff up my record. Lion Brian Williams. Maybe we call him that, huh? And, I just flashed in my brain when he was at that hockey game with that war hero, and he let them make all those lies about him. Just so gross. That stolen valor. That is a gross thing, stolen valor.
Yeah.
So here is Tavis Smiley talking with Brian, Lion Brian.
Tavis.
What did I say, Travis?
Yeah.
It's Tavis.
He gets that a lot.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
It's Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Frowny.
It's like Steph's name is Stephanie. That's Stephanie. She gets Stephanie quite a bit.
Certainly.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
She doesn't correct people anymore.
Yeah, it's not our fault his parents couldn't spell.
That's right. I had bad penmanship on the form. So here is Tavis Smiley, and here's what he had to say to Brian Tiny Hand Williams.
As I've listened to the conversations on all the networks and read all the papers over the last 24 hours, I'm getting sicker and sicker to my stomach. I'm not just sick about the vile comments that Mr. Trump made over the weekend on that videotape that came out from 2005 or all the other sick comments he's made in this campaign. I'm not just...
Boy, this guy's super sick. He's a little Pepto-Bismol. Huh? Am I right?
That's right.
That guy needs some Malex and a little Pepto-Bismol.
That's right. He's even got the pink tie for the Pepto.
Whoa, he's ready.
It's sponsorship.
Sickened by his vile comments. I'm sickened by a media that was complicit in helping to make Donald Trump
sick at the media who is complicit at helping make Donald Trump. He's saying this right on MSNBC. Of course, they let him do it at 11 o'clock at night, so no.
Almost universally, we were complicit, and now nearly universally, we want to condemn him. I'm not buying this nonsense of now our condemning him. We helped make this guy, and now we want to condemn him. The media doesn't build you up and tear you down. The media builds you up to tear you down, and we are guilty of this, and we can't just point the finger at Donald Trump. Billy Bush, pardon my English, ain't the only one who ought to be in trouble for enabling Donald Trump.
I like how he's such a stickler for correct grammar that he apologizes for using ain't. Pardon my English, ain't. He literally just apologized for saying ain't. I thought he's usually when you swear you say that.
But that's what people who go, pardon my French, it's just a way of emphasizing it. Yeah.
He said ain't.
Ain't, right.
He didn't swear.
He gets a grade. He has a teacher at home that gives him a grade every time he goes home.
That's
a little
funny.
report card.
Here we go.
I'm sick of Trump. I'm sick of the media, our profession, quite frankly, Brian. I say that with no pride, but I'm sick of us. I'm sickened by the fact that this is not just bad for the Republican Party, but it's also bad for we progressives. It's hard to push Hillary to be more progressive when she's running against a guy who's running a campaign of the absurd. And speaking of the...
That's a great point. He's making great points left and right, which is why you hardly ever see him on mainstream TV.
Yeah. He's
always on PBS and pushed to the margins. And CNN will bring him on to ridicule him usually.
Right.
Him and Cornel West. But so the point that he made that was fantastic was that it's hard for progressives to put any pressure on Hillary Clinton when she's running against this guy who's a crazy person. Like, all she has to do is not be crazy. She doesn't have to be progressive. She doesn't have to come try to serve her. Believe me, you know she's not coming to get the left's vote. We've seen it. We've talked about it a million times, and that's what he's saying. That this guy even hurts progressives in a sense because now our candidate gets to go even further right because Donald Trump is a cartoon. That's also a great point.
And speaking of those Republicans, I'm not buying this nonsense that they now oppose Donald Trump because of, again, his vile rhetoric. They're concerned about their seats. It's always about people trying to save their own hide. They don't care about Donald Trump. They care about their seats. They helped make this guy. This party helped create this guy. And now that he's now dragging them down, they want to abandon him. This is the same Donald Trump today that existed in 2005. They didn't know that. They didn't vet this guy.
They knew that. They all knew what a creep he was, and they didn't care because they thought it would hurt them to oppose him.
They got behind him. They supported him. They endorsed him. They made him their candidate. And now they want to run for him because they are in trouble. There's a lot tonight to make us sick. I repeat once again, Billy Bush, I don't condone what he did, but he's not the only one who ought to be in trouble tonight and being held accountable for enabling Donald Trump.
No one will be in trouble for enabling Donald Trump. You know, the point was made before that, well, if Hillary Clinton's hanging around with war criminals like Negroponte and Kissinger, you really can't hold anybody accountable for supporting Donald Trump. He's just an obnoxious predator. War criminals are worse than that. That would be the point. And Tavis Smiley is saying, no, I'm not going to let the Republicans distance themselves from them, and I'm not going to let the news media either. It's the news media you propped him up. You were complicit in his ascension. And now you're going to try to wash your hands of him? That's what he's saying. And he's not going to let them do that, and he's not going to let the Republicans do it. Unfortunately, they will all be able to distance themselves, and because Tavis Smiley doesn't hold power in our culture, so the people who do, the establishment, will just go right on letting everybody off the hook. Just like they still talk, even all the people who, like Hillary Clinton was on board for the Iraq war, like she should be shunned from society. She's not. She's the party's nominee. That's supposed to be a disqualifier when you give full-throated support to an illegal war that everyone knows is illegal. That's supposed to be a disqualifier. Now ignoring it is the progressive thing to do. So good for Tavis. I like that he did that. I like that he did it on MSNBC. Now you know why you hardly ever see him on MSNBC because he speaks the truth and he speaks truth to power. And that's uncomfortable for them. Believe me, if he ever started to cost them money, we would never be back on. And of course, they put him on with the safest guy in the world, Brian Williams, right? He's never. Tavis Smiley is saying this stuff to Brian Williams. It's not like it doesn't like he's not even hearing it. Brian Williams is just okay at the top of the hour when we come back. He's just having fun being on TV. Brian Williams. He doesn't really care what he's saying.
Yeah, he just has that confident newscaster charm. Yes. A confident rejoinder from a black guy. Up next.
Up next.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But I love in Europe, in England, they call them newsreaders.
That's right. That's
what we should call them here, newsreaders. That's what they are. They're newsreaders.
Here they're called casters because it's spells. They're casting spells upon the people, misinformation and
Is that
BS.
from something? Is that
No, I'm making crap up right now.
Oh, casters?
Yeah. I'm a bullshit caster.
Oh, I thought that was from like one of those books, J.K. Rowling's, right?
Sure, yeah.
What are they called?
Kids' books.
What are those books?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a wizard. I mean, that's a lot of this is. I mean, that's what propaganda is. It's sort of influencing you in ways you don't realize you're being influenced.
Correct.
The whole society's built around it.
So he's angry at the propaganda. So am I. Get used to 4 more years of it.